In the deep woods of Appalachia, there's an old saying, never speak of the devil at night, for he is always listening. But what if the devil isn't the only thing to fear? And for generations, the granny witches of the mountains have known what really lurks in the shadows and, more importantly, how to keep it out. And ever wonder what they knew that we don't? Let's find out. When you hear granny witch, don't picture some fairy tale hag. But think of the respected elder in an isolated mountain community, the woman who was its heart. And she was the midwife and the healer and the keeper of the old ways when the nearest doctor was a day's journey away and survival came down to what you knew and who you could trust. This uniquely American folk tradition is a potent mix, with roots reaching back to the Scotch, Irish, English, and German settlers who brought their own magic with them. Once here, those practices blended with the deep knowledge of the land learned from Native American neighbors like the Cherokee and Choctaw. While it developed its own distinct flavor, it was also part of a wider tapestry of Southern folk magic, which was indirectly influenced by the spiritual practices of African Americans. This wasn't book learning. This was practical magic passed from mother to daughter and born from a deep connection to the mountains. So what exactly were they protecting their homes from? The mountain lore is filled with tales of spirits, some mischievous and some truly malevolent. One of the most famous is the Haint, a restless spirit, a ghost that can bring a deep chill and a string of bad luck into a house. Imagine a cold spot in a warm room, or that unshakable feeling of being watched when you know you're alone. These were the kinds of troubles the doctors couldn't diagnose, but the granny woman knew just how to handle. For a granny woman, protecting a home started at the front door. And you might have heard of Haint blue, that specific pale blue-green color on porch ceilings. And that tradition has its strongest roots in the Gullah Geechee culture of coastal South Carolina and Georgia, whose people believed the color looked like water or the sky which spirits couldn't cross. While it's most famous in the Low Country, the custom spread, and the idea of using color to trick spirits found its way into homes all over the South. Another trick was even simpler. Laying a broom across the doorway was thought to create a barrier that a spirit or ill-wisher couldn't step over. And then there's salt, one of the oldest tools for purification in folk magic around the world. And a line of salt sprinkled across the threshold was seen as an impassable wall for negativity, and some folks would even mop their floors with salt water to give the whole house a spiritual cleansing. Protection didn't stop at the door. Iron was believed to have real power against the unseen. The horseshoe nailed over the door, always with the ends pointing up so luck didn't run out, was a common sight. The smoke was another powerful cleanser. While burning herbs was a widespread practice, using what was on hand like bundles of local cedar or pine to drive away heavy or oppressive feeling out of a room was just plain common sense for people living so close to the land. But what makes Appalachian magic so distinct is how often it was woven together with Christianity. And for many granny women, these practices weren't against the Bible, they were part of the same system of belief. And a healer might read from the book of Psalms to drive out darkness one minute, and then recommend a lucky buckeye for your pocket the next. And of course, not everyone in the community approved, and some churchgoers saw these old ways with suspicion. But for the women who practiced them, faith and folk wisdom were two sides of the same coin. Protection wasn't just for the home, it was something you carried with you. A buckeye nut tucked in a pocket was said to ward off sickness and bring good fortune. A simple piece of red thread tied around a baby's wrist was believed to keep the child safe from harm. And there were also things you just didn't do. Unwritten rules meant to keep you from inviting trouble. You never whistled at night because it might summon spirits. And your hair was considered to hold a part of your spirit. And it was always burned, never just thrown out, to keep it from being used in a spell against you. These weren't just superstitions, they were a complete guide for navigating a world where the spiritual and the physical were, well, one and the same. These traditions are kept alive by telling their stories. And if your family has a piece of mountain wisdom or a story about keeping safe from things that go bump in the night, please share it in the comments below. And if you want to uncover more secrets from the deep woods, make sure to subscribe. The world is a different place now, and many of the old-time granny women are gone, but their knowledge hasn't disappeared. It lives on in modern herbalism and homesteading, and in that timeless desire to protect our homes and families. It just goes to show you that in the oldest mountains, some secrets are never truly lost. They're just waiting to be remembered.